All right, so welcome to the Forest Coffee Break. This is the episode number 26. It's been a interesting ride. Thank you for joining today. This is a very open space for general questions. I'm always saying that, and we do this bi-weekly. Today we have a special guest. Fernando will be showing us a few things that he's up to. He's always very good at uh, hacking around the APIs, without a better word to say it. But let me first start with you. If you have no other people, if you have any questions, any other topics they want to bring up, this is always very open and informal. So yeah, any questions, any topics, anything that you want to bring up?
Yeah, thank you, Augusto. So my pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Fernando. I was just giving other people some time to join. I think Eric was going
Yep.
to
Oh,
unmute. Yeah, okay. Go
hey,
ahead, Eric.
morning,
Yes.
guys.
Hi.
So
Good
I have a
morning.
question about the Autodesk API. I noticed they recently released a 2022 version, and I saw a share option on in that in the software. I was wondering if that's available through the Forge API using the Autodesk Design Automation to generate that share option URL link.
Okay, so I think that was available before, if I'm not mistaken. It's the ability to share a model, right? To just say share, and that will get you a link.
Yeah.
I believe that just uploads to the viewer.autodesk.com or related, right? Similar to that, and you just share your models. But that's definitely not using design automation. It's just mod derivative and viewer, right? You just upload and translate and view.
Okay. Because I noticed that the URL link it just sent you to the AutoCAD uh, web app, and right there you're able to use a trace model or markups or anything like that to do modifications for that DWG file. So it creates like another layer for it.
Yeah. So okay, got it. So
Yeah.
the AutoCAD for web application does use a collection of things. It does use design automation in the backend to generate the final drawings or the precise DWG files. So yes, it is in a way using design automation, but it's not built on top of design automation. It's just using that to create a few drawings. So if you can imagine that you have this browser lightweight interface that you can do your drawing, but at the end you want to have a highly precise DWG file. So at that point we use the AutoCAD engine to create the files.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Interesting question. Thank you. What else? I think I missed my cough the other time, but I got it this time. So I think just one interesting thing that is up from our side is I'm not sure if you noticed that the SVF2 went to full production this week, right? And it's very exciting to have Design Automation Live. SVF2 in production. And if you haven't seen it, let me grab here and just show that to you because that's very exciting. Share. Okay, so if you go to our blog, you see that is this link here with this blog post with all the information. Essentially, you can just use as it was used before in beta. Now it's available in production, and everyone can use it, including BIM 360 and OSS files. So it's very important. It's a very important move that we're doing, and soon all the modules will be SVF2 because no new modules will be uploaded, and the performance will be way better compared to what we have on SVF. So hope all of you are using SVF2, and that will be interesting. And just a few things that we did over the last few weeks. I think this one is quite interesting, the DWF and PDF support on the viewer. Not sure if you realize that it was available before. There is an extension to load PDF and DWF and GLTF. And when we view those models, you don't have to translate. They just open on the viewer straight from your server, right? So it's an interesting thing if you want to play with those. So there is a library behind the DWF and PDF. And there is some no trade-offs when you do the visualization without translation, but it's quite interesting. So yeah, take a look at this one as well if you are using one of those file formats. Yeah, so I think those are quite interesting. And this label thing is going on for a while. And João joined our team late last year, and he's doing a lot of research with labels. And if you this is always impressive to see a 3D label like that. And it's there is the obfuscation piece that when you move the model on top of the label, it will hide. So everything is in there. So it's quite interesting if you're doing labels. Okay, so I think those I was thinking what are the exciting topics over the last few weeks. So those are a few ones. So let me go back to you. I see that there's a question. Hyperlinked supported on SVF2. I don't know what you mean, Dustin. When you have click on a mod on one element and open a link.
Yeah. So if you look at the toolbar on the SVF2 viewer that we were just showing, it no longer has the hyperlinking icon that we used to see in BIM 360. I don't know if it was ever available in Autodesk Docs, but the ability to just to add a hyperlink to an element in that SVF interface seems to be gone.
Yeah. So the SVF and SVF2, they're using the same viewer. So there is no, should not be any difference on the viewer side, right? It's just a translation and optimization, right? And as I remember, that's a BIM 360 specific feature, not a Forge general platform feature.
Okay,
right?
got
Meaning
it.
that it's not something that you can use out of the box, but it's not that hard to implement, right? You just have to map the on selection changed event. And as soon as you click on one element, open a link.
Okay.
If you have your own viewer, cool.
Yeah, or you could create a custom, right click context submenu and then open to an HTML link. Something that wasn't so.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, that's right. The right click is also interesting. I was trying to remember what happens with the right click when you are on a mobile device. Do you know, Michael?
There's no way to do a right click on mobile.
I mean the context menu. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't believe you can pull it up on a mobile device with tap anyway. Just with using tap.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, we are so we developers keep working on computers while everyone else is working on mobile devices. We all have to remember that. I was talking to a few friends and asked them to go to a website for me, and everyone did on a mobile. No one is using computers anymore, except developers, I believe. So Balaji, you were asking about SVF is the default translation for BIM 360. Yes, as of June 30th. Which was a couple weeks back, all new BIM 360 translations will be SVF2. So that's the date we switch it to production. Oh, hope that answers your question. So let me switch gears for a moment and hand over to Fernando. Let's see what you have. Let me stop sharing. Okay. And you should be able to share. And it's just a bit of history. Fernando was my first teacher on AutoCAD programming back in 2002, 2003.
I don't know, a long time ago.
Yeah, well, we know each other for a very long time. And so thank you for introducing me to the Autodesk world back then. And
my pleasure, Augusto. Yeah.
Take the
lead.
lead.
So let me start with a brief introduction about our company. So we originally started like 25 years ago working with manufacturers. As you can see in your website, we have a bunch of them in different areas. We started with office furniture industry, but today we have MEP, we have curtain wall, customers, electrical, lighting, a bunch of them. And the idea at that time was to provide a way for them to both create their catalogs and manage their content. And after passing through AutoCAD Evolvement and Revit, today we are using Forge to expose their content. So just to give you guys a little bit of context, let me show you, this is the desktop application we use to manage the catalogs. And here, as you can see, we can add products, and for each product, we can attach metadata. So we can attach AutoCAD files, both 2D, 3D, Revit families and family types. We can add price information about the products, default textures, per layer, and everything that is necessary to specify a product, right? And once they create these catalogs using our content controller software, they publish to our cloud, and that catalog becomes available for a sort of clients. And since Forge started to allowing us to better handle graphics online, we came with the idea to connect a configurator to this database, right? So we started doing this with some manufacturers, and actually we start to do some tests and see what's possible to do with the viewer and Forge API, and connect to this huge database of products we have in our server. And then let me switch to the browser again. So we start with a bunch of simple PLCs like this, where we can expose some of the configurations through the Forge viewer, right? We can use this viewer to show users spec changes in their product. Okay, they can change fabrics and things like this per product. Sometimes, as Augusto mentioned before, we have the developer perspective on the configurator, but we need to keep in mind that common users are going to use that even in a mobile device or an iPad. So we need to really invest some time trying to create a better interactive UI to allow simple configuration for the user. So this was the very first prototype we did, and then we moved on to a more complex one. So this different menu, again, to expose product properties. And we start to explore what's possible to do with Forge. So here you can change materials as the other sample. But we did a little bit extra here. So we figured out a way to start creating animations in the product. So as you can see here, when I hover some spots of the product, they highlight. And if I click, we got some animation, okay? You can, for example, slide those doors and see what is inside. We can also play with the transparency of the sliding door. And we can also open and close drawers. So in this case, can be an important aspect to understand how materials are applied. So if this drawer is closed, I can't tell you the material that goes inside. So we start exploring those capabilities to better demonstrate and use Forge Viewer to show product capabilities. Okay. Then again, we move to another level when we start to combine multiple products into the same scene. So for design intentions, it's very important to put products together and create what they call a typical. This, especially in the big layouts, is a very important aspect because you need to specify and replicate that specification across the design. So usually they resume and simplify the problem for a single workstation. They apply that to the entire layout. So here you can apply finishes across multiple products. So this credential is one product, this table is another. So we linked those finishes so they stay consistent, and we kept some of the animations here as well. Okay, so again, all those configurations, they have that database behind the scenes. And then this is a real example here, a manufacturer called Dolphin. So they asked us to expose some of their products in a configurator. So you can even visit their website yourselves. And if you go under resources and click product configurator, it will open their product configurator. This again uses our database behind the scenes to expose the products and their options. This database is the same I showed you, and we expose here those same catalog finish options for the product, right? So they can move things around here. They can change a little bit of design. This manufacturer, they prefer to lock the orbit so you don't get lost here. And it's also clickable from a mobile device. So you can easily, switch positions here. Okay, and of course you can play around with the finishes. We have some add-on graphics. So for example, if I turn on arms, they snap in position. I can select their finishes and more configurations as well. Change a fabric in the seat. And all those commands here, they're relying to an underlying database where they look for this model code here, as I showed you, and expose the properties here in the configurator. And the good thing about this approach is if they come back to this database and change something, they just need to publish to our cloud again. So you can see here the publish button, and the configurator is updated. So they don't need to do anything on their website side to have those changes visible here in their product. And you can keep going. You can select a different product. You can play with the configurations. And at the end, as you'll be seeing here, you can generate a PDF or a report about the product with a customized information about it. Okay, so again, we come from a long history of tests and prototyping, and we were able to connect Forge with our huge underlying database to expose a product configuration. So this is basically what it is right now. And of course, we have lots of ideas in place and being developed and should be available pretty soon.
Oh, really impressive.
Thank you, Augusto.
I think there is a question here. Hi, would you like to, should I read that, or would you like to open up microphone? So he's saying that after extracting and retrieving metadata of Revit models, can we extract with data type of each model parameter?
Hi, yes, yeah. Because the quality of each model will be built with different team. So some Revit model we can extract and use Revit to separate, and sometimes it's lost the value. So if yeah, I think if we know the data type of object parameter, we can set the data in our database better.
Okay. So just to understand, right, is this about what Fernando is presenting or in general?
I think it sounds to me more like a general question.
Okay, yeah. So let's just ask some questions to Fernando, and then we get back to that. But I believe you can extract the parameters, but you probably need design automation. So let's get back to it. I think just back here to what Fernando was presenting. I was curious that you were using Viewer, right? But when you generate the final drawing, is that design automation?
So in this case,
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So in this case, Augusto, as we do have the underlying families for each of those models, right? What we provide for the user when they download, we provide the DWG and the families as they are, right? So we are not using design automation for this. But in other scenario, if we do have the recipe for the product and if they provide as separate parts, that would be a possibility. And actually, depending on the product type, that would be the best solution for this.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from audience? I think I may have more questions, but I'd like to give the opportunity to others. So when you are using the viewer here, I know that you said that you lock the rotation, right? And also that it seems that it's loading a bit different. Is that because you are using a different version, or no, is that latest? Do you have 3JS on top of that to handle materials better? Can you talk a bit more? I think my question is around materials, because I see they are very shiny, and you have all the shades and reflections applied to it.
Yeah, so this was a little bit of set of tests we did with the viewer. So it's not easy to get the materials to show beautifully in the viewer, especially when you're involving different types of materials together. So like fabrics, metal. Sometimes you have a brushed metal. Sometimes you have plastic with a little bump to be applied on top of it. It's a little rugosity on the surface. So those are the by far the greatest challenge we have to improve how they look in the viewer, right? We have other types of configurators being created. So for example, I can't show this, but it's an ongoing process. We are putting an entire kitchen in the viewer and allowing the user to change materials in this kitchen. And for that configurator, we need to work much more in the lighting position of the light and how they, emphasize those materials. Because sometimes the star here is the product itself, but for a kitchen manufacturer that sells just the materials, the veneers and this type of a beautiful material, they want to see their material the best in their, in the scene. So it depends on how you want to emphasize one aspect or another in the viewer. That will define the amount of work you need to do the visual side.
Hey, cool, interesting.
Yeah, and some of those products, another challenge here, this is not the case, but we have some manufacturers that combined, they can generate easily like 20,000 combinations of materials applied. So it must be dynamic as we are doing right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, otherwise you have to have predefined, right? So that's the idea of have everything configurable. Cool.
Yes, exactly. And another aspect they like is the ability to have, they're being self-sufficient to do changes and apply it. So if we got some of these products here, you see that we have a set of finish options defined in the database. So they can define even the graphics that are going to be, added to the model if you turn on and off arms, for example, right? So we call these structural options. So we have this kind of complexity in the underlying database, and they have full autonomy to change that, add new fabrics, remove, and they publish, and that's it. It's there in the viewer for their own usage. So they skip the need to have a web developer, to keep changing the website UI.
Yeah. That other part you are showing is a desktop application. Is there something interesting there? I mean, why desktop? Why not web? Why they prefer that?
Yeah, so actually, this is a very old product we are using to do that. Sometimes it's important to be in a desktop environment because the amount of data, especially the binary files they use, some catalogs they have like 15,000 products, So if you consider a 2D and 3D DWG file plus a Revit model, sometimes they also add SketchUp files as well. So it's a huge amount of data they need to manage. And we have some customers, they have more than one license and they work together, completing the catalog. So it's a very desktop-like, work at this time.
It's very much a design kind of thing, right? Yeah. So they are working with the data. Okay,
Yeah,
cool,
exactly.
interesting. I thought it was like management, but it's not. It's design.
Yeah,
yeah. It's very much what we have as well, right? Revit is desktop where you do the design, and then you go to the cloud for sharing.
exactly.
Interesting.
And they have tools here to even open AutoCAD and see how the arm is going to be attached to the share before publishing this to the configurator, you know, so they can pre-test those configurations offline.
Oh,
Yeah.
very, very nice. So last chance for questions. Thank you, Fernando.
Thank you.
Quick question. Maybe I missed the previous explanation. So the parts of the chairs that are changing, so these are these supposed, like these are different models, right? I see multiple DWG files. So they are being loaded into one viewer, like an aggregated model viewer.
Yes, exactly. So let's look at this example here. So we have the arm options. So if I turn on the arms, regardless it's finished, it will load the arm and keep the model. So we're loading and unloading models in the viewer dynamically, right? So because they don't have a pre-assembled version of the chair, it's an option of the same SKU, you know, the same product. So it's a little bit different than the change in the product itself.
Got it. And while aggregating that, were there any challenges to align the models?
So we have this, the recipe for adding those parts in the backend database. So if we look for this product here, so let me quickly show you. It's 5310 is this guy here. So if we open the options for this product in the catalog, you see the ARM options here, and you see that each option will bring in a model. And if you look here, we have some offsets configured in the database. So we know for each arm, if it's necessary, we know how to position related to the main model, right? So that's why we call this structural option. So it's some add-on to the main product that have a specific position, rotation, and an elevation, right? So it properly connects to the product. And this happens with chairs, cabinets, credenzas, lots of products. It's very common in this industry to have this add-on capabilities in the main products.
Thank you. And the last one, the animation that was there, was it the animation extension, the default one or something?
Yeah, so this animation was created a couple of years ago. So we actually did a bit of hard code in the JavaScript side to make them happen, right? So this is something that's not yet streamlined in our catalog.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you for the question. It was quite interesting as well. Yeah, the animation was quite different. Okay, so can I switch back, Fernando? Thank you very much for the presentation today. It was very nice to see the viewer push the limit like that. It's always impressive to see configurators. They are very nice and very close to home, right? We always do that when you go to a shop and we have to configure the equipment we want. So yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. And let me give a few minutes for other topics, other questions that other people may have. Just have a few more minutes. Any other topics? So I think while you think about your questions, we are doing a break on the accelerators, but we are going to get back with that kind of event very soon. So if you want to attend, the next one will probably be around AU time. AU was announced for the first week of October. We're probably going to have some events around AU as well. So stay tuned for that. As soon as we announce AU, we are going to announce the other Forge related events we're having. And if you don't know, AU registration is opening soon. Will be free, will be online, just like last year. So yeah, please take your chance to register for that and make sure that you get all the Forge related activities happening. And I think that's
I have a
really
question.
Yes, go ahead, Remy.
Yeah, Fernando, I just got confused. The viewer you're showing is the Forge viewer or it's a 3GS viewer with GLTF files?
It is Forge viewer. Yeah, so we completely changed the UI via programming.
Okay.
So it's the Forge viewer.
And you're loading the files with the material using GLTF or something else?
No, we are using just loading the SVF files the traditional way. And of course, we use a little bit of a WebGL API to play with the materials. But I would say 90% of the code is just the Forge viewer code.
Okay, that's all right. Thanks.
No problem.
Yes, thank you. So with that, let me share again. So thank you, Fernando, for presenting today. Thanks everyone for attending as well. Hope you had a good time today. The next coffee break will be in 2 weeks, same link, same time. And yeah, I hope to see you there. And thank you very much for joining today.
Thank you, Augusto. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Fernando. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Yes.